Hello and welcome to the ZeroFunction Podcast. I am your host today, Conall, and joining me are my co-hosts, Genevieve and Lee.
Hello.
What's up?
And today, we are going to be... Fight me. Fight me. How dare you interrupt me, you whore. Anyway, today we are talking about the SCP Foundation. Now,
It's something a little different.
it's very different because it's not really set in real life. I mean, it's kind of got that vibe to it.
Yeah, we're not actually doing an actual real thing. It's
like a fictional universe.
Yeah, explain to us. Give us a brief brief overview.
The SCP Foundation is a fictional organization documented by the web-based collaborative fiction project of the same name. Within the website's fictional setting, the SCP Foundation is responsible for locating and containing individuals, entities, locations, and objects that violate natural law, which are referred to as SCPs. The real-world website is community-based and includes elements of many genres such as horror, science fiction, and urban fantasy.
So it's like Wattpad for creepypastas.
What? Oh. Yeah, they're kind of like more advanced creepypastas.
Yes.
Yeah. So the way that it's set up is because I have lost so many hours to this website.
I've never heard of it before,
It's
Conall.
very intriguing.
So it's what is it? It's kind of set up like a wiki site where each article is a user submission. It's a collaborative fiction.
Yeah,
project.
so multiple people like post on it, but there's people who obviously like moderate the website to make sure stuff that's posted is good enough or like makes sense.
Yeah. So the central conceit of the project is there's weird shit happening. There are weird creatures. What?
Just shit that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Weird objects and creatures and occurrences, and there's this foundation that works to contain and categorize,
Secure, contain, protect.
Yes, exactly.
That's what SCP
Oh.
stands for.
Yes. And
That's like their motto.
the wiki is set up in a way that each user entry is set up like
It's like a report.
a report. Yeah.
A report for the SCP.
Yeah.
And it details like the description of the creature, SCP, a description of it, containment procedures,
Its classification.
Yep, how they classify it,
and it's got like amendments. It's got like incidents and stuff sometimes, and
things like incident reports, interview logs, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's
so
all like fictional.
Yeah, I've literally I've heard of the game SCP Containment Breach. It is that one.
Containment Breach, Secret Laboratory.
That's the one.
Yeah, I've heard of those, and so when Conall was telling me about SCP, that's what I thought of first. I was just like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then he kind of explained. He was like, no.
Yeah, and the one that everyone's heard about, I think, is oh boy, what number is it?
173.
173.
We'll get into that later, but that's like the most popular one, and like everybody knows it.
Yeah.
If they know SCP, they know that.
I'm pretty sure it was the first one as well.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, so we've got some different opinions, well, not opinions. What do you call it? Viewpoints, because I know absolutely nothing about this, and I think you do know a lot or a fair amount.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know a fair amount.
Yeah.
He probably knows more than me, but I know a decent amount.
Yeah.
Lee
knows more about everything than all of us.
Yeah, that's fair. I can go into like kind of how the Foundation is kind of like fleshed out, or like the universe sort of. So
yeah, go for it.
The existence of SCPs is withheld from the public to prevent mass panic and to allow human civilization to function normally. When an SCP is discovered, the SCP Foundation deploys agents either to collect and transport the SCP to a Foundation facility, or to contain it at its location discovery if transport is not possible. If an SCP is too widespread, elusive, or otherwise inaccessible, containment consists of suppressing all knowledge of the SCP from the public. Once SCPs are contained, they are studied by the Foundation scientists. Test subjects acquired by the Foundation, referred to as D-Class, are used to interact with dangerous SCPs due to the danger posed by those SCPs and the expendability of the D-Class. So they're like
Wow.
the D class is like death row inmates that
Yeah.
are just sent into rooms with SCPs to die. Pretty
So
much.
was this
Yeah.
all started by like one person that just wrote like a cool story?
It might have been the
I don't
guy who
actually
did
know.
173. I don't know.
Because that's the thing. Like, obviously, you know, everything has to like start. This is turned into like a massive community sort of project.
Massive. There is up to almost 6,000 SCPs, I think.
Damn.
Some of that.
Oh wait, no, it's more like 5,000. There's numbers that are like reserved currently.
Yeah.
So it says like access denied or something on the website. Currently.
So they're probably like still writing
no,
or.
no SCP has been written in, so it's probably more like 5,000 actually.
Yeah.
5,500. It's hard to say.
Okay, so the the series began on a 4chan forum.
Oh, of course.
For the paranormal, I think with the X designation. I think I know nothing about 4chan, so
No,
let's
I
just
don't
move past
really
that.
know I
And
avoid that.
it was in fact SCP-173.
Yeah,
the
thought so.
concrete statue.
Great baller.
And a bunch of people, I guess, liked it and started creating their own SCP style entries. And then they created a standalone wiki in 2008, and then the web hosting service switched to a paid model, I think, and the SCP Foundation series was transferred to its current home on Wikidot. So yes, there's a little bit of history there for you. So it started around 2007, and then moved to the current site in 2008. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
She's been around for time.
It's kind of interesting because the website doesn't actually have its own information about the SCP universe. Like, you get all the information about it from all the files. So,
yeah.
you kind of have to dig through it. There's obviously YouTube videos that I go watch.
Yeah.
that, like, they flesh out the universe for you, so it's easier to figure
Understand,
out
yeah,
what
yeah.
the hell is going on. Because if you just read the files, that would be a struggle to figure out what's going on. But,
Is there like an SCP like YouTube channel or?
Yeah. There's a bunch of them.
there's like an animated one I like to watch.
I quite like the Explaining series. Yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, there's heaps of them. Like, some people dedicate their entire channel to it. It's nuts.
Yeah, so
And there's so much content there.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's huge amounts.
Because that's the thing, especially with creepypastas and things like that. Like the shorter ones I like reading, but then the like longer stories are so much nicer when you can just like visually, what do you call it? Well, watch it, but when you can just experience all that. And like the narrators have such power, man. Like, 'cause you can read a story and be like, wow, yeah, that was cool.
Oh, yeah.
But then if they have like that certain voice, you're like, oh,
That
oh,
certain
this is
vibe as
yeah,
well, you know?
yeah.
And they're
It's
not all like, not all of the entries are set up like as those reports. Like,
Yeah.
they
there
could be kind of different.
There are prose stories in there as well. I think they're called tales. I think there's like a
Tales,
separate
right.
section, and sometimes articles will link to those stories. Usually they're created by the same author, but sometimes it'll be people adding on to the original concept.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool collaborative project.
Yeah.
It's
I love it.
insane. And it's
I
really
just-
well moderated, so stuff makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just went onto YouTube to like see if I could find one of these channels to look, and like the first video that comes up is top 5 scariest SCPs caught on camera.
That's
clickbait.
yeah.
I think that's how it works. What was I going to say? Yeah, so I wasn't really going to go into this, but in the SCP universe, there are like different factions other than the SCP Foundation.
Yeah.
There's like the Chaos Insurgency, who are controlled by an anomaly called the Engine or some shit. There's the Scarlet Hand. No, Children of the Scarlet King. Fuck them.
Church of the Broken God.
Yeah, the Union, the big World Union that's like separated from NATO or something. I can't remember what it's called. But they just want to kill SCPs compared to the Foundation.
I think so. The Chaos Insurgency, they use SCPs to like destabilize reality.
Yeah.
Wankers.
The Church of the Broken God believe in a deity who was like split into separate pieces, and each of those were categorized as a separate SCP and are currently held by the Foundation. At least some of them are. It's super complicated.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's starting to lose me. I'm like, I'm still here, but
YouTube videos, they're fucking great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
YouTube, where we learn everything.
we can go on to now. I'll give you the classifications because each SCP has its own classification.
Yeah.
On like how dangerous it is, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
So it's literally filed like what do you call it? It's got its own file system of
Yeah.
each individual case and by number
Yeah,
and
most
rank
of the
and
time.
And there's not really any like system of like how they're arranged. I think it's kind of just like the order that they were. No,
Which they're written,
actually, I
or?
think it's if there's a free SCP number,
Yeah,
then
you just take it.
You can name it. You can
Yeah.
like name
Yeah.
your article.
aren't some of them like continuations of other articles though? Or-
Yeah, yeah. Some SCPs are related and stuff as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Or affiliated, like
yeah, and
Cain
often
and Abel.
Yeah.
oftentimes
SCPs.
I think Cain is an SCP. Yeah,
Yeah, and they're separated by like 3 numbers or something. But obviously they were created similarly.
Yeah.
So they wanted
Yeah.
similar numbers.
and there's was it SCP-1 is like there's actually there's not a single SCP assigned
yeah
to that number.
says-
I think there's like 6 different submissions.
Yeah.
It was more than that. It was like 15 or something. But like it's intended to leave it ambiguous because it's like the Foundation doesn't want it. Out of all of those SCPs that are like rumored to be 001, they've left it like that so you cannot get the right one or figure out what the right one is for
Yeah.
some certain purpose.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know.
a couple of the SCP-1 submissions are one of them is like this 100-foot tall, like angelic looking creature that stands guarding a
Oh, is that the
gate
one,
or something in the Middle East.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and
It just burns shit.
Cain relates back to that one because
Yeah.
he like refuses to go near it.
Why do they not want anyone on 001? Is that because it's the
just-
beginning? Or?
it's number 1.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
Like
It's number
Yeah.
one. They want to leave it ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
another
it's
one,
interesting, I
another
guess.
submission for SCP-1 is a factory that actually creates SCPs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Spooky scary.
So it's like, yeah, weird stuff like that. But yeah, I think it was a competition on the site to, like, you know, take number 1.
Yeah. I think the
but
most
yeah.
rumored one is the Scarlet King, though. Usually.
Oh boy, and there's
He is whack.
so much lore around Scarlet King.
Yeah, it's insane. Anyway, let's move on to the classifications. So you've obviously got the safe class of SCP. Safe class SCPs are anomalies that are easily and safely contained. This is often due to the fact that the Foundation has researched SCP well enough that containment does not require significant resources or that the anomalies require a specific and conscious activation or trigger. Classifying an SCP as safe, however, does not mean that handling or activating it does not pose a threat. So just because it's safe doesn't mean that it won't be like a danger in the future,
Yeah.
pretty much. I.e. the Scarlet King, once again. Because the more you think about him, pretty much, the stronger he gets.
Is this one you're telling me about at work?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, the more he's like categorized, the stronger he becomes.
Yeah.
So he's categorized as safe, so people don't look at him that much.
Mhm.
But he's still like fucking dangerous as hell. The next one you've got is Euclid class. Euclid class, it's fucking weird word. Euclid class SCPs are anomalies that require more resources to contain completely, or a containment isn't always reliable. Usually this is because the SCP is insufficiently understood or inherently unpredictable. Euclid is the object class with the greatest scope and is usually a safe bet that an SCP will be this class if it doesn't easily fall into any of the other standard object classes. As a note, any SCP that is autonomous, sentient, and or sapient is generally classified as Euclid due to the inherent unpredictability of an object that can act or think on its own.
Ah.
Yeah, so they could fuck you over or they
Yeah.
could not. It's whack. Like there's highly dangerous SCPs that are considered Euclid just because you don't know when they're gonna
Yeah.
freak out.
Yeah, and these classifications here are purely related to containment. Like there's two different systems that they use to categorize them. This one relates to how difficult it is to contain the SCP.
This is like the primary classification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I don't remember what the other one was, honestly. Because I don't ever look at it. I kind of remember it a bit, but it's more like specific stuff, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of irrelevant at that point. Like.
Yep.
Alright.
I burped, but it's away from the mic, so don't worry. The next classification is Keto Class. So, Keto Class SCPs are anomalies that are exceedingly difficult to contain consistently or reliably. with containment procedures often being extensive and complex. The Foundation often can't contain these SCPs well due to not having a solid understanding of the anomaly, or lacking the technology to properly contain or counter it. A Keto SCP does not mean the SCP is dangerous, just that it is simply very difficult or costly to contain. So, it could just be really annoying. Like, some SCPs they'll just let roam through, like, their facilities, just because they cannot contain them. Yeah. But for some reason, they'll just decide to say the facility, so they're like, okay, cool. it's like one of the ones that I have on the list today.
So they're just
really
like, no, I don't want to join the real world. I'll just chill here.
Yeah, and then the last primary classification, which is kind of weird, you don't see it very often, is Thormial Class. Thormial Class SCPs are anomalies that the Foundation specifically used to contain other SCPs. Even the mere existence of Thormial Class objects is classified at the highest levels of the Foundation, and their locations, functions, and current status are known to few Foundation personnel outside the O5 Council. Oh yeah, the O5 Council, they're like the top brass of the Foundation.
Yeah, the main man.
There's like 13 of them, I think.
I don't know.
Why are there always 13 in the council?
13 in the
because it's a nice odd number. You don't get ties and votes and 13.
I like 9. Nine's a nice odd number.
So. Yeah, to summarize that, I'm looking at the actual wiki here in the FAQ section, and they have a quick reference guide to what class your SCP should be. It's called the locked box test. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and nothing bad will happen, then it's probably safe. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and you're not entirely sure what will happen, then it's probably Euclid. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and it easily escapes, then it's probably Keto. And if it is the box, then it's probably Taumiel.
That's pretty good. That's the solution to everything. The SCP Foundation, just chuck everything in like a box plated with like lead, iron, zinc, just whatever you can fucking put it in.
Add to as necessary.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just add wherever the fuck you can, as many guards as you can.
But what about the ones that are just roaming? Like, they're just like, well,
they'll leave ones roaming that, like, aren't a danger,
but what if they just can't contain them, but they are, like, super dangerous if they wanted to be?
Oh, yeah, there's plenty like that.
Yeah.
You just gotta hope they don't fuck with you.
Because imagine you're just, like, walking down the hallway, and then whatever, like, you're walking past just suddenly goes, you know what, I want to kill this guy.
I mean, there's an SCP that was just, like, called God, pretty much. And he would just live in one of the Foundation rooms.
Yeah.
But he would just, like, phase through a wall, come back with a hamburger or something. And then, like, bring furniture into his room somehow.
Yeah.
And he could, like, manipulate minds of people and just have, like, visitors in his room or whatever. When there weren't supposed to be anybody in there.
Bro.
And they're like, okay, we can't do much about it, but he's not a threat, so...
I'm
trying to find the actual,
That'd be pretty funny, though. Like...
danger...
danger!
Just like, that's the most dangerous thing on Earth, but I can't really do anything about it, so we just let him vibe.
So, I can go on to, there it is. SCP-173. It's like every YouTube video.
Oh, yeah.
They're like,
the OG.
The OG. So this was the first SCP as we talked about before. I'll go with the special containment procedures first. Item SCP-173 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter SCP-173's container, no fewer than 3 may enter at any time, and the door is to be re-locked behind them. At all times, 2 persons must maintain direct eye contact with SCP-173 until all personnel have vacated and re-locked the container. I started running out of breath there.
It's called a container, which is making me feel like it's something that sits on a shelf, but... when it said, like, 3 people entering, I'm like, oh, so it's like a cell.
Now, description. Moved to Site 1993, origins of yet unknown. It is constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. Don't know what the fuck.
It's a brand of spray paint.
Yeah, but it's very specific.
Well, that's the thing. That sometimes these articles will get, like, super in-depth on, like, little details.
His wallpaper has flowers. Because he likes flowers.
I was going to say its classification is Euclid class. Although, highly dangerous.
See, that's what I'm saying. They're just kind of like, well.
SCP-173 is animate and extremely hostile. The The object cannot move while within a direct line of sight. Line of sight must not be broken at any time with SCP-173. Personnel assigned to enter container and instruct to alert one another before blinking. Object is reported attack by snapping the neck at the base of the skull or by strangulation. In the event of attack, personnel to observe a Class 4 hazardous object containment procedures. So yeah, this thing will just your neck. And he's appeared in like both SCP games that I've played. And he's like, show her the image of it. Should have it.
Isn't it that like weird
it's like
looking?
Weird doll-looking ass.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen the gameplay.
I hate that thing.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say, 2007, like when this thing was first posted. Also, the year that Doctor Who season 3 aired, which introduced the Weeping Angels.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I don't watch Doctor Who, so I'm
not gonna say that they got the idea from that, but I'm not gonna not say it either. So
it's a possibility, but this thing's got a whole different vibe to it.
What are the Weeping Angels? Yeah. I don't watch Doctor Who, so...
Okay, well,
the Weeping
we need
Angels
to fix that.
Send you in time.
I told you, I don't have time to watch TV.
Okay.
Like,
It just kills you.
Going off on a massive tangent. There's an alien creature in Doctor Who. They're called the Weeping Angels. They look like stone angel statues, like life-size. And they usually have their hands over their faces. Let's bump the mic. And that's because they are quantum locked. So if if something is looking at them, they're frozen.
Yep.
They can't move. But when they're not being looked at, they move like
speed of light.
Stupid
It's
fast.
It's like Schrodinger's cat, pretty much.
Yeah.
In like a weird way.
What?
And
Schrodinger's cat. So like if you're observing it, then it like exists, but it's like stuck. I'm making a weird.
I could go on a whole other tangent about Schrodinger's cat if you want. But yeah, basically the angels, if they touch you, they send you back in time.
You can also send you
and
forward,
then
can't they?
No, it's always back in time because they feed off of the potential energy.
Yeah.
That they like draw from you, like so, like the potential, like of your life going forward, is like no longer there. So they take that energy when they send you back in time. Yeah. And yeah, they're utterly terrifying.
It's a bit better because you get to live, but this thing just snaps your neck.
Yeah, it's not great.
See, but those things, like in the game, that like the gameplay that I've seen, because as soon as you like turn a corner, those things are like...
It's like, hey.
After, so it's just like, how do you run from something like that unless you're literally running in a straight line?
You need multiple people. You need to walk backwards, not blink, and have multiple people.
But that's the thing. One person is always going to be stuck.
If you get behind a door, and if it can't open the door, you run away.
Can it not go through objects?
No, it can't phase through objects. Because it's locked in like a container that it can't go out of. So it's not just 3 people in the room for like 24 hours a day.
I was just like, well, you're just screwed. Like somebody has always got to be there.
Through physical stuff, so you have to lure it into a box. And lock it.
But how do you lure it into a box if you have to be watching it and it can't move when you're watching it?
Yeah, it's only got like a Class D personnel. They're expendable.
Oh yeah, true.
That's what the SCP Foundation does to like trap things. They'll just use Class D personnel as bait.
Ah, nice.
Because I think they're like death row prisoners or something most of the time. But yeah.
I feel like if I was a death row prisoner, I'd still rather die by the electric chair or something than like some sort of alien creature.
Oh no, they'll just like terminate you on the spot if you don't do it.
They'll just shoot you in the head. Yeah. I mean, I guess you'd still if you're gonna die anyway. Like, okay, if that was you, right? You're on death row, and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna be used as bait to lure this like creature into the thing." I'd just be like, "Just shoot me!" Like,
yeah, I think that's how it goes all the time. But sometimes
like, rather be shot in the head or get your neck snapped.
Some of the classes,
because you can still survive breaking your neck. I mean, probably not the way that he does it, but like, you can still survive if you break your neck. It's very rarely, but could you imagine that thing snapping your neck and you're just like on the ground, like, well.
It'd probably finish the job.
I mean, yes, probably, but nah, not about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, on to another Another SCP. This is also a classic.
Oh, is that it
I
for
should
173?
probably add before we move on. The photo that's like usually associated with 173. The weird concrete
In the corner.
baby-looking creature with the massive
We'll
head.
add it on our Twitter.
We can. I was just gonna say.
Follow us,
that-
ZeroFunction Pod on Instagram and Twitter.
Yes, please do. It's a photo of an art installation entitled Untitled 2004 by what's his name? Izumi Kato. So
Is that when the photo was?
Yeah.
no, that's the sculpture itself.
It's just a
was
random
by this person.
creepy sculpture
The-
this person decided
the-
was fun to make.
Yeah, pretty much. The photo was taken by Keisuke Yamamoto.
Oh, because I was about to say,
yeah.
yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because I was about to say, wasn't that supposed to be drawn up in like 1995 or something?
The SCP itself.
Yeah.
93.
Yeah.
Oh,
Apparently.
yeah.
So yeah, the classic like sculpture that you see associated with it was made by this artist and has no relation to the author or the like.
He just
site,
thought this is
so-
what I think this thing would look
I
like.
thought it was a neat photo.
Yeah,
and
and
turned out
wrote
to
a
be-
story around it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
turned out great.
Yes.
Anyway,
It turned
cool.
out great.
Moving on.
Oh, wait. Was that photo done before?
Yes.
They wrote the
before-
story.
Yeah,
Yes.
he wrote the story around the picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So,
Oh, that's kind of cool then.
yeah. Next one,
Yeah.
we got SCP. Shut. Stop saying yeah.
Yeah.
SCP-096. In here,
Sorry,
fuckers.
I just hear you go, yeah, no.
Bastards.
Yeah.
Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP-096 is to be contained in its cell, a 5-meter cubed, airtight steel cube.
5 meter cube, that's pretty big, isn't it?
Well, it's 5 by 5 by 5. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, at all
That
times.
is what cubed means.
Shut the fuck up. Well, it's not how it was written on this, so it's weird. Anyway, weekly checks
Oh,
for
yeah.
any cracks or holes are mandatory. There are to be absolutely no video surveillance or optical tools of any kind inside SCP-096's cell. Security personnel will use pre-installed pressure sensors and laser detectors to ensure SCP-096's presence inside the cell. Any and all photos, video, or recordings of SCP-096's likeness are strictly forbidden for approval from Dr. Redacted and 05 Redacted.
Why?
Why
It's classified information.
it's classified information. It's redacted.
Yeah, so a lot of these articles, like throughout the site, have redacted information in them.
Yeah.
And could be personnel names, creature descriptions.
Oh, so they're not
event-
allowed
event
surveillance, so in case it gets out.
It's just because.
What the being itself. You
Oh yeah,
can't-
that's what I mean. I was just like, why can't you like put surveillance on it?
Well,
Oh, okay.
you'll
yeah.
find out.
This thing is
Terrifying.
Not just like,
it's
why
one-
do we have to
it's one of the
report it to
scary
them?
ones.
So, let's start with the description. SCP-096 is a humanoid creature measuring approximately 2.38 meters in height, so tall.
Damn.
Subject shows very little muscle mass with preliminary analysis of body mass suggesting mild malnutrition.
Slender
Arms-
man.
Yeah, sort of. Arms are grossly out of proportion with the rest of the subject's body, with an approximate length of 1.5 meters each. Skin is mostly devoid of pigmentation, with no sign of any body hair.
Yeah,
Oh, so this
General-
is like literally Slender Man.
usually, the image I usually have in my
It's
head
more gaunt.
is the Madeiros girl from Rec. You guys.
Sorry, what?
Okay, there's a Spanish horror film called Rec.
Why would I have seen that?
REC. Because it's amazing. It's about a group of firefighters who respond to some kind of incident in a sorry, I'm completely blanking. I don't know what's going on. There's something wrong with me. In an apartment building. And they have a news reporter with them, and it's
That thing?
yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, except
Right.
bald. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar to that.
Yeah, and basically there's this like virus going through the building. This is a zombie virus, and yeah, I'm just gonna say go watch Rec. It's a Spanish horror movie. It's in Spanish.
Is that the one
and
where
it's-
there was a second one released, but it was American?
Yes, they remade
Yeah,
it
that was
as
called
Quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
apparently the
was-
first one's better. The actual Spanish one.
Yeah, Quarantine is
Yes,
definitely not
I'm
as
aware
good
of this.
as Rec.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Rec
about now.
and Rec 2, really good. The third one is not. So just watch the first two and you'll be fine. It's very good.
Furthermore, on with the description, SCP-096's jaw can open up to 4 times the norm of an average human. Other facial features remain similar to an average human, with the exception of the eyes, which are also devoid of pigmentation. It is not yet known whether SCP-096 is blind or not. It shows no signs of any higher brain functions and is not considered to be sapient. So this is where it gets kind of weird, sort of. SCP-096 is normally extremely docile, with pressure sensors inside its cell indicating it spends most of the day pacing by the eastern wall. However, when someone views SCP-096's face, whether it be directly via video recording or even a photograph, it will enter a stage of considerable emotional distress. SCP-096 will cover its face with its hands and begin screaming, crying, and babbling incoherently. Approximately 1 to 2 minutes after the first viewing, SCP-096 would begin running to the person who viewed its face and just kill them. So that's why there can't be any, like, video or pictures or anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's mission logs, like
How did they capture that thing then?
Head down,
Like-
Well, yeah. Basically,
That's pretty much it.
there's an incident report, a mission log
Yeah.
from I think recapturing it, and it slaughters an entire MTF team
Yeah.
and
So there's
most
more.
of a small town before they can like get it
Yeah.
contained.
So where did this thing like originate from?
Like,
it
just
I
showed
think it
up
was
one
just
day?
prowling in like a mountain range somewhere. I can't quite remember. Yeah, I think they found it in a mountain range near
Yeah.
town.
So the specific containment breach that is in the incident report
Yeah.
occurred because before it was contained, a mountain climber or a hiker or something took a picture of the landscape on a like just on a
Just on a
trip
trip, yeah.
up the mountain,
Yeah.
like before this thing was contained, and then years later just happened to be looking at this photograph that he took that he had on his wall and noticed this thing in the background, and that was enough.
This thing just went because it can't be stopped by anything. It just breaks through its containment box. If anything sees its face, it just goes through the box. It goes through the facility
Yeah.
and just runs towards this person.
And it's like,
Breaks through it or
Yeah, it
like
just
phases?
It's got incredible strength and it's really fast as well. I think it can go like 40 kilometers an hour or something running.
I'm looking at the article here. Documented speeds have varied from 35 kilometers per hour to redacted kilometers per hour.
It's
So,
fast.
yeah.
And it just can't die either. It cannot die.
Yeah, they...
So what if this person was like on the other side of the world?
It would just go.
Yep.
There's also an incident of it going to the ocean floor to kill a D-class prisoner who did an artistic impression of it. So the artistic impression doesn't trigger it, like going after people. It has to be an actual photograph of it. Yeah,
So
it just
they...
went down and killed this guy
So they had...
Why was this guy on the ocean floor?
because they wanted
As an
like, to
experiment.
see if art would trigger it. As
So
well.
so they had this guy...
So wait, why did he kill this guy then?
Because
Because he
So
had to
he-
look at a photo of its face to draw its
Ah,
face.
yeah, okay,
so
yeah.
The photo triggered it, but the drawing didn't. I'm assuming they
Yeah.
showed the
So that's
drawing
how they know
to
what it looks
another
Yeah,
staff member?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
that
another
makes
D-class
sense.
personnel to see if it worked, and he didn't die, so yeah.
Could you imagine like trying to
It's
like
terrifying.
find the photo and you accidentally look at it and you're like, ah, yeah, this is it. Fuck.
So its common name is the Shy Guy. He's quite a...
He's
quite
a
good-
shy boy.
He is, because he starts crying, man, if somebody sees him. He's like, alright,
I'm ugly.
gonna fucking die. He's pretty terrifying. Oh, and like, also, when it's in like its uncontrollable state, or like, makes these like weird moaning and shit, and it's like, ugh. Like, there's YouTube videos people have made, and it's spooky, man. I don't like it.
Bro, nah. I'm so glad this sort of stuff doesn't really exist. Like,
Oh yeah, there's so many terrifying SCPs.
sometimes you see like fantasy worlds and you're like, oh, I wish the real world was like that. But then in real life, yeah, nah, I'm okay.
But this SCP is just, it's so dangerous because if it goes into a population center, it's fucked. Everybody's fucked. And if it gets on media, on the news,
Yeah.
lots of people die.
yeah, another thing we should mention, something I alluded to just before, was the mobile task forces. So these are like the containment teams that they bring in. Yeah, and they're all like, they all have their own like articles and nicknames. So we've got I'm just looking at a list of them here. There's MTF Alpha 4 Pony Express.
Pony Express.
MTF Eta 5 Jaeger Bombers.
Oh man.
MTF Iota 10 Damn Feds.
So
MTF Mu 13 Ghostbusters.
You know a bunch of Chads, mate. He's like, yeah, this is sick.
Yeah.
MTF Psi 8 The Silencers.
This is like when your teacher goes, okay, now come up with a team name.
Yeah. But there's an MTF team that started out as an SCP.
Yeah.
This is one of my favourite articles on the site. There's a group of, I think, 3 teenagers who were playing a shooter, like a PC game, in the I want to say very early 2000s, and they just like got sucked into the game, and they were there for years before they like realised what was happening. And what happened was, after they got sucked into the game, whenever they started a new match or round, they would manifest within like a 100 by 100 meter cube somewhere in the world, and like the enemies that they were killing were actual people, like in the real world. Yeah, and the Foundation eventually managed to take they found one of the computers that they were using to play this game that they got sucked into, and they managed to start communicating with them. And yeah, basically it took a few years for them to like acclimate to it and come to terms with what had happened to them. But then after that they decided to join the Foundation as an MTF team. Yeah.
A lot of training.
So they're still just stuck inside the computer?
Yeah, but the Foundation was able to figure out how to control where they're deployed.
But how did the people not get sucked into the computer as well?
What?
The people, like, because you said they found the computer to communicate with them.
Yeah, well, the guys, the scientists weren't actually playing the game. They were just using the network to communicate with the players. Yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
But when they manifest into the world, why don't they just stay there?
Oh, because they're not. It's weird to
Is it because they're not like really there? Like
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like they
like ethereal, just like bang.
Yeah.
From nowhere.
Yeah, they manifest into reality, but they're not actually there. Like, they're still in this weird cyberspace realm.
And all the enemies they were shooting were, like, real people.
Yes.
It's whack.
And obviously it took them a while to come to terms with that.
Yeah.
But now they're deployed against, like, other SCPs and, enemy combatants, stuff like that.
Chaos and
Damn.
City.
I love that one. It's so cool.
That's pretty hefty.
Yeah.
Should I move on with the next SCP?
Yes.
Yeah, this one's got a bit of information to it, but I kind of just liked it. SCP-076 Object Class Keto Special Containment Procedures. Containment Area 25B is to be located 200 meters below sea level, tunneled out of solid bedrock in a seismologically stable area. Sole access to the containment facility is to be through a vertical elevator shaft separated every 50 meters with a reinforced blast door. Constructed of 20 centimeter thick material shielding. Elevator shafts shall be flooded with seawater when not in use. In the event of a full breach, all on-site staff are to proceed immediately to the closest security station for weapons and armor distribution. Staff will remain at alert condition 1 until SCP-076-2 is confirmed and neutralized. It's a lot of words. Should 90 minutes pass after declaration of full breach without a stand-down order being given by level 4 or higher personnel, final contingency measures will be activated, flooding the entire facility in seawater and sealing off the access shaft for a minimum of 24 hours before retrieval is attempted. This will by necessity result in the deaths of all on-site staff. In addition to that, shut up. Talking aside, in addition to that, a lot of the sites have like warheads as well.
Yeah.
Below them, because like some things can only be killed by like nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
It's like
So.
This thing is very fortified.
Can you summarize that because there was just a lot of stuttering.
This
I
thing
was
is underwater with like 4 massive blast doors. I'm assuming that you have to go down in an elevator, so everyone has to open individually to get out. It also had like a killing tunnel as well. That's just loaded with guns, but I didn't talk about in that.
Yeah.
So when the thing escapes, you get it. So the description. SCP-076 consists of 2 components, a stone cube, which is SCP-06, I'll just do it -1, and a humanoid entity contained within, which is -2. So it's like 2 different SCPs, but they're one. The -1, 076-1 is a 3-meter cube made of black speckled metamorphic stone. All surfaces outside and within 076-1 are covered in deeply engraved patterns corresponding to no known civilization. Radioisotope analysis indicates that the object is approximately 10,000 years old. A door is located on one side, sealed with a lock 0.5 meters in width, surrounded by 20 small locks in a circular pattern. As of yet, none of the keys have been found, making the door impossible to lock once closed. Apparently the interior temperature is 93 Kelvin. I don't know what that is in Celsius. Can you find that out?
Yep.
And it cannot be altered by any means, internal and external, so they can't alter the temperature.
Negative 180 degrees Celsius.
That's gold! Directly in the center of the room, or the SCP, I don't know why they didn't refer to it as the SCP, a 2.13 meter tall stone coffin held in place and sealed shut by several chains of unknown make and substance were attached to the inner corners of 076.
It's chained up inside a coffin.
So there's a coffin inside the SCP, which is the -1 SCP.
Oh.
Yeah, so the box is SCP-076-1, and inside the coffin is 076-2. So this thing resembles a lean Semitic human male in his late 20s. Hair is black and eyes are grey, skin tone olive. Subject is 1.96 meters in height and 81.65 kgs in weight. Numerous tattoos depicting arcane and occult iconography are present all over the body, mostly in the form of leering demonic faces, and ranges from subtle to openly ostentatious. Subject, when encased inside 076-1, is technically dead. So pretty much what we're dealing with is a vampire. That is the gist I'm getting it, but from this. It's terrifying.
A Jewish vampire. Okay.
However, fucking sweaty hands. Holding the microphone sucks.
I wonder if there are vampires in Jewish mythology. I'm gonna have to go look that up.
Interesting. However, occasionally 076-2 will awaken, effectively reanimating, complete with all vital processes needed to sustain a living human being. Subject will attempt to leave 076-1. If successful, subject will enter a trance state and seek out the nearest human being, ignoring all other living things in the process. Upon coming in contact with living humans, 076-2 will enter a rage state in which it attempts to engage and kill all human beings encountered. To date, only the subject's death has been shown to be effective in ending these rampages. In addition...
What, so they kill it?
Yeah, they have to kill it. But obviously it reanimates.
Yeah.
It did say, I didn't write it down, but like it just turns into ash when it gets killed. But then like it just...
What, like a phoenix?
Sort of. And it like reforms inside the coffin. Like, I think it was like...
Why do they keep putting it back inside the coffin?
They can't know. When it dies,
Yeah.
it goes back itself. Like, it just reforms there.
Oh, okay.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, in one containment breach, they had to detonate the warhead on site to kill it. To stop it from escaping, pretty much. Yeah. And also, the warhead does not destroy 0761, the box. It just... You can't destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is whack. I think...
So it's a...
I didn't write it down, but, like, I think it can take, like, several 50 BMG, like, 50 caliber bullets to the head without dying. This thing's strong.
Bro.
That's why they got the killing tunnel.
Yeah.
So it's, like, get down, and like it can just escape whenever like fully awakens. It's just like, okay.
That's not. So you're already like a vampire-looking thing, but then you're also like, oh, I couldn't die before, but when I do, I come back, so it's okay.
Yeah, so they just have to keep killing this thing over.
So
and
it's
over again.
it's basically just a vampire.
Yeah.
Bro, that seems so
That was
long.
interesting.
Like every time it comes back, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
For fuck's sakes. And sometimes it will get past. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, that seems so long. And that's the thing, like, even though this is all made up, obviously, like, in movies and things like that, where you have people working at these facilities, like, who optionally goes, oh, you know, I could have just been, like, a normal scientist or whatever, but I chose to work at this top secret underground facility where things could break out at any moment and kill us all.
I guess it's like the knowledge. People want to know more about the world, and also, you know, you're protecting humanity at this foundation.
Yeah.
Because there's so many dangerous things that you have to stop from destroying the world.
Mind you, I guess you could say the same thing about people going to, like, war and things like that. You're like, it's so dangerous, why would you go? And they're like, I want to protect my country.
I want to do it.
Bro, I could never have that much loyalty to a country. Like, it's just a place at the end of the day.
It do be a place.
Yeah.
It's more about protecting the people, I think, but yeah. Not necessarily the land.
Would you ever go to war?
I had to.
No, but, like, if they were like, we need able bodies to protect whatever, would you go to war?
If it was defensive, yeah. I wouldn't go on an offensive war, though. If somebody attacked
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
I'd be like,
Yeah, no,
alright.
okay, yeah, I'd do that, yeah.
But I wouldn't be like, hey, you want to go attack this country? I'm like, no. Why would I do that?
You know, it's like,
Yeah, it's very odd.
Yeah.
Any comments on that?
Are you doing a bit of research
Yeah,
over there in the corner?
I'm just reading over here. I would just like to point out that MTF 804 has the nickname Begone Thoth. So
Alright.
that's my contribution.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah. Hold on,
I'm a man of God.
let me have a look at these guys.
I remember I saw an SCP listing, and it was literally just like about bugs. Just any kind of bug. And obviously, like, it was like class Euclid or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, ew, get them away. We do not like them. It was just like a whole joke listing. What the fuck?
And that got approved.
Yeah, it got approved. Like, oh, it's funny, man.
Bugs.
It's like, some of them hurt you. Most of them harmless, but they're nasty. Get them away.
Alright, okay, that's weird. Mobile Task Force 804 is a unit of intelligent SCP-3095 affected seabirds.
What?
804 specialises in information collection and analysis, complementary field research and support, and in extreme cases, airborne combat.
Okay.
Wait, which one is this again?
This is MTF 804, Begone Thoth.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, SCP-3095 is... It's loading. Object class Avian, containment class Neutralized. SCP-3095 is the designation given to a recurring phenomenon affecting members of the Aves class, also known as birds. Specimens affected by SCP-3095 will acquire a certain degree of sapience. They have varying personalities and levels of intelligence. They have many common characteristics noted. Okay, so it's an event that
Smart bits.
grants intelligence to birds.
Interesting.
The birds work for the
Yeah.
bourgeoisie.
They do.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, SCPs can get weird, man.
Very weird.
You don't say. We're just talking about vampires and Slenderman sort of things, but you're like, nah, the birds, man, the birds.
Yeah.
This one's kind of interesting. So
Begone Thoth. That's so
second
funny.
to last one? Yeah, second to last SCP. So, SCP-049 Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-049 is contained within a standard secure humanoid containment cell in Research Sector 09 at Site 19. Big words lot. SCP-049 must be sedated before any attempts to transport it. During transport, SCP-049 must be secured within a Class 3 humanoid restriction harness, including a locking collar and extension restraints, and monitored by no fewer than 2 armed guards. While SCP-049 is generally cooperative with most Foundation personnel, outbursts or sudden changes of behavior are to be met with elevated force. Under no circumstances should any personnel come into direct contact with SCP-049 during these outbursts. In order to facilitate the ongoing containment of SCP-049, the entity is to be provided with the corpse of a recently deceased animal, typically a bovine or other large mammal, once every 2 weeks for study. It's whack. So it's got like high intelligence. This SCP.
Wait, so it studies the corpse, or?
Yeah. So this SCP, he's commonly known as the Plague Doctor.
Yep.
And as I go into, he likes researching bodies, and this thing he refers to as the pestilence. And it's very ominous. They don't know what the pestilence is.
Yeah.
But he's always talking about it.
Yeah, and occasionally, so he's considered like pretty safe, I think.
Yeah,
like
for the
he's
most
not generally hostile.
Yeah, like you can talk to him and stuff.
There is
but-
a child making eye contact with me right now. In the other house.
Yes,
in the house, outside the house.
Yeah, no, like your next door neighbors. She was just like looking outside. We just like
boy.
made eye contact. She was just staring at me.
The room that we record in has a window that faces the neighbour's house.
Yes,
so
it's very concerning. When I
Generally, we
change
have the curtains
sometimes.
closed,
Yeah.
don't we?
a little bit.
No, we don't.
Oh, well,
Generally have it.
yeah. She just like opened the curtain, and obviously there's three of us sitting in a room with microphones, just like recording. She just like clocked eyes with me, and I was like, ah.
So yeah, Plague Doctor.
Yeah,
He's
sorry,
not generally hostile
Don't wanna go
towards
near him,
people.
though.
No, because every now and then, and there's like, they don't know what the criteria for it is. You know, they don't know why, like, what he's looking for. But every now and then, he will identify someone as being infected with the pestilence.
Yeah.
Like, he gets agitated by the pestilence whenever it's like mentioned or he sees it. Apparently.
Yep, and
He
he
freaks
will.
out.
He'll just like if he like identifies someone with the pestilence, he'll do everything within his power to get to them and kill them.
Yeah. From this.
Imagine if it's
it
just
can
like
be-
someone having like a common cold or something.
Yeah. It can
And-
become especially irritated at times, outright aggressive. It feels it is in the presence of what it calls the pestilence. So yeah, he just freaks the fuck out.
Yeah. And like if he succeeds in killing them, he'll like become really frustrated because apparently that's not done anything to stop the spread of it.
Yeah, like subdue it.
Yeah.
And then he will attempt to perform an autopsy on the
Yeah.
corpse.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the worst thing about SCP, it's kind of like all the information I had written down. We kind of went through it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I won't read it all because there's probably no point. But when he touches a person, I don't know if it counts as the corpse, but he creates an instance like it's 049-2, but they're reanimated corpses. So he pretty much creates zombies that he can control. So
Like
yeah.
normal people, or
I think it also can work on animals.
but like dead people, or just like the people at the facility.
Hold on, I'm trying to look.
Because if it's just like normal people, he just touches them and it's like you're mine now.
Yeah,
Like
they can be dead people. Yeah, instances of reanimated corpses that have been operated on by SCP-049. So yeah, he operates on them and then they become corpses. But I think he can just touch them and they turn into that as well. I'm quite sure. So you don't want to like get touched.
I mean, you probably wouldn't want it to touch you anyway, just of being what it is.
Oh, yeah.
But
SCP-049 will generally attempt to kill any such individual. SCP-049 is capable of causing all biological functions of an organism to cease through direct skin contact. So he kills them and then reanimates them.
sick.
So he's terrifying. So if he goes on like a rampage and he gets out of containment, then he'll just like resurrect these people.
Bro, it's like the worst game of tag ever.
I think
He's just like going
I
around
think
touching people, being like, "You're mine now, you're
I think
mine."
he eventually like calms down. He's like, okay, I'll go back in the cell. Pretty much.
Bro, see, that's the thing with all these things. Like, eventually they're just like, "Alright,
Yeah.
They're like,
chill.
sorry, I just had a bad moment. just had a bit of an outrage, but we're good now."
Should we do a dramatic reading of this interview log?
Is it very long? Because some of his interviews are very long.
No, not at all. It's this guy here.
Oh, can I be one, or is there
So
two voices?
Two voices.
There's the doctor. Well, there's the interviewing professor and the plague doctor. I would very much like to play the plague doctor.
Oh, okay. Wait, how am I gonna do this? Am I gonna have to?
Can you pull up
Yeah, pull it up on
What-
your
is it
computer. We're gonna do a
049?
dramatic reading
049? How do you not have this up already?
Shut up.
because you are the research guru in this
Yeah, I have the
relationship
general
over here.
information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speak about it.
Okay. I'm gonna have to shift my.
This one here.
Oh yeah, because I can read that from here.
Make it bigger.
Oh, okay.
Alt enter. Hold on.
No, Control plus is what you can also do. Wait, so what? You want to be the doctor?
No. Yeah,
I would like-
he's the SCP.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I'm the doctor. It literally says in French.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alors, comment devons-nous commencer? Une introduction?
I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting you to actually. So in the script it says in French brackets, but then it's written in English. I didn't expect you to like.
yes. In English, that is. So then, how should we begin? An introduction?
Is that French? Can we get a translator?
The King's English. No need for translation, sir. I can speak it well enough.
Good. My doctor. My name is Dr. Raymond Ham, and I.
A doctor. A like-minded individual, no doubt.
Cryptobi-
Wherein is your speciality, sir?
Cryptobiology. Why?
Medical man such as myself. Wonders abound. And here I worried I had been abducted by common street thugs. This place, then. This is your laboratory? I had wondered, as clean as it is, and with such little trace of the pestilence here.
The pestilence? What do you mean?
The scourge. The great dying. Come now, you know, the, what is it they call it? No matter. The pestilence, yes. It abounds outside these walls, you know. So many have succumbed, and many more will continue to, until such time as a perfect cure can be developed. Fortunately, I am very close. It is my duty in life to rid the world of it, you see. The cure to end all cures.
When you say the Great Dying, are you talking about the bubonic plague?
I don't know what that is.
I see. Right. Well, the entities our agents encountered at the house, were they all dead when you encountered them? Yes, and you reanimated them.
In a manner of speaking. You see things too simply, Doctor. Expand your horizons. Life and death, sickness and health, these are amateur terms for amateur physicians. There is only one ailment that exists in the world of men, and that is the pestilence. And nothing else. Make no mistake, they were very ill, all of them.
You think you cured those people?
Indeed, my cure is most effective.
The things we recovered were not human.
Yes, well, it is not a perfect cure. But that will come with time, and further experimentation. I've spent a lifetime developing my methods, Dr. Ram, and will spend a lifetime more if necessary. Now, we have wasted too much time. There's work to do. I will require a laboratory of my own, one where I can continue my research unimpeded, and assistance, of course, though I can provide those on my own in time.
I don't think our organization will be willing to...
Nonsense! We are all men of science. Fetch your coat and show me to my quarters, Doctor. Our work begins now.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's fun.
I enjoyed that, yeah.
he has quite the personality.
Yeah.
The plague doctor.
I like him.
He's cool.
Yeah, now all of a sudden, because he's like, some sort of weird French doctor, I'm like, yeah, you know
Yeah.
what? I can get behind this.
I did slip into German at a couple points there, because, I've not practiced my French accent that much, but, yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun.
How often do you have to practice a French accent? Like, how many
Um,
opportunities?
I talk to myself a lot at work.
Oh, God.
Oh, that wasn't second last. That was third to last.
Was it?
We
Oh,
still
boy.
we still got two.
Are they short ones?
Alright.
Are they long ones? Are they medium?
We could probably blast
So-
through them, and
so-
we're coming up on an hour, so.
Yeah, we're
Ah,
right.
yeah, perfect, awesome.
I like how we have this conversation every week.
Yeah.
Every fucking time.
Yeah.
It's mostly just when Conall's like doing this because
Well, I like to keep us on schedule, so don't fucking.
Oh, look at you being an organized person.
Anyway, SCP-035 Object Class.
Oh wait, pause. Did we have any final thoughts on that? Because we kind of just moved on real
mean,
quick.
there's-
We said
there's-
like a log, and then we just moved on.
There's another interview log that we could do.
Okay, no, I feel like we'll go over time with that. But
Okay,
final
alright.
thoughts. Final thoughts. Cool guy.
There's a
Seems
bunch of them.
seems pretty sick. Besides the fact that he does. Yeah, he's scary, but like you can back him.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with him. He'll
Yeah.
vibe. What was I saying? Yeah, Keto Class feller. Containment procedures. SCP-035 is to be kept within a hermetically sealed glass case, no fewer than 10 centimeters thick. This case is to be contained within a steel, iron, and lead-shielded room at all times. Research personnel are not to touch SCP-035 at any time. SCP-035 must be moved to a new sealed case every 2 weeks. The previous case must be disposed of via SCP-101, which is neat because another SCP gets rid of his containment thing, which is kind of cool.
SCP-101...
What, does he, devour it, or,
I think so, yeah.
Well, SCP-101 is I'm just going to read this. Appears as a satchel or bag of intermittent size with observations ranging from an opening of 15 centimeters in diameter to 70 centimeters in diameter. The primary feature of it is what appears to be a semi-humanoid mouth contained within the opening of the bag. Consists of 32 teeth.
So it's like Mary Poppins, Mystery bag. It's just, you can just keep putting stuff in.
It just eats it.
Yeah.
It disappears, I believe.
Polymorphic abilities, as well as a low level of sentience. It was discovered in 1979 in a remote area of the Cascade Mountains in the Pacific Northwest of the US. Found alongside it was the decayed remains of a human clad in a weathered black suit, seated upon an also weathered parachute, missing the right arm up to the joint of the shoulder, which appeared to have bite marks through the remaining bones. Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice little backstory.
It's a bag that disposes of things, I guess. A bag with a mouth.
Yeah.
Sick.
So, back to 035.
So, anyone who comes into contact with SCP-035 when is in possession of a host is to be given an immediate psychological evaluation. So the description of it, SCP-035 appears to be a white porcelain comedy mask, although at times it will change to tragedy. In these events, all existing visual recordings, such as photographs, video footage, even illustrations of SCP-035, automatically change to reflect its new appearance. So that's something.
So if a photo was taken of it with a happy face and
any existing footage, and it changes its presence itself, anything that anything
are we saying that
its likeness changes.
So if you have a picture of it and the picture shows it in the tragedy pose, and then the mask itself switches to the comedy pose, the picture will also show it in the comedy pose.
So are we saying this thing looks like the opera masks of the
it's
Oh yeah. Okay.
And again, all the pictures and stuff that they have on the site are not real. Obviously,
none of this
is real.
Yeah.
They're in some cases artist depictions or photos of actual objects that exist.
What was I saying? A highly corrosive and degenerative, vicious liquid constantly seeps from the eye and mouth holes of the SCP-035. Anything coming into contact with this substance slowly decays over a period of time, depending on the material, till it's decayed completely into a pool of original containment. Subjects within 1.5 to 2 meters of SCP-035 or in visual contact with it experience a strong urge to put it on. When SCP-035 is placed on the face of an individual, an alternate brainwave pattern from SCP-035 overlaps that of the original host, effectively snuffing it out and causing brain death to the subject. Subject then claims to be the consciousness contained within SCP-035. The bodies of possessed subjects decay at a highly accelerated rate, eventually becoming little more than mummified corpses. Nevertheless, SCP-035 has demonstrated the ability to remain in cognitive control of a body experiencing severe structural damage, even if the subject's body literally decays to the point where motion is not mechanically possible.
Okay, so it's a mask that kills you and takes over your body.
Yeah,
with its own
much.
consciousness.
Even if the thing,
the host for it.
Even if the body becomes literally a bag of bones, it can still move it.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd not heard of this one. This is creepy.
See, this is the thing.
This one's got some great interview logs, and he also talks to the plague doctor as well sometimes.
Because
and the plague doctor does not like him. He's like, this guy's annoying.
Where are the interview logs? I want to do the interview logs.
That's so weird though, because when you think about that, someone made this up. How does someone think I want an opera mask that just decays shit? How do you come up with that?
They're anomalies. They just come out of people think weird shit.
Yeah, I mean, we know that.
What was I saying? Conversations with SCP-035 have proven to be informative. Researchers have learned various details about other SCP objects and history in general, as SCP-035 claims to have been at many momentous events. SCP-035 displays a highly intelligent and charismatic personality, being both amiable and flattering to all those who speak with it. SCP-035 scored a 99th percentile on all intelligence and aptitude tests administered to it and appears to have photographic memory.
So does this thing like float, or does it just sit on a?
It's just
Like-
on the face of a person. When I think it's because it's just like an object. So
So it's just constantly on someone.
no. It can be removed. So when it's removed, people feel the urge to put it on.
Yeah,
Like they'll be drawn to it. That's why it's in a case and nobody's to be in the room.
but that's the thing. It says that it talks to people. So does it talk to people?
It can't
Via-
It can't talk to the people when the mask is off of a host. It's only when it's got a host that it can speak.
That's so they're just like, hey, we need to talk to this mask real quick. You're volunteered as tribute. Like,
Yeah, they'll chuck in a D-class person. I'm like, right, let's go.
dude, that
Okay,
sucks.
so I'm reading this interview log, and according to the mask itself, it was forged by Hephaestus using the laughter of Thalia, muse of comedy.
Oh,
Yes, so it's
That's
Greek. I would
quite
assume.
hefty.
Yeah, that's what it says its origin is.
Yeah.
So, you know.
In addition to that, the SCP is also known to be highly manipulative. So,
Sick.
You know, he's very good at changing people's like psychological states.
Yeah.
And whatnot, and he can even like make people commit suicide just from like talking to them. And whatnot.
Damn.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, not gonna
he's-
lie though, that's not. Sounds weird, but that's not too hard. Like, I mean, look at that app that was going around like what 4 years ago, the blue whale thing.
What?
Did you guys not hear about the blue whale app?
Blue whale.
I mean,
The
that's
fuck?
that's a completely different like episode, but that's like
I know what you're on about.
I'll explain it to you later because it could be like a little trigger warning or whatever. But
Okay.
yeah, I'll explain it to you guys later.
Alright.
What was it?
Sure.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, SCP-035 is stated as intimate knowledge of the workings of the human mind and implied that it could change anyone's views if given enough time. So that's a little spooky. Yeah, he's a scary boy. But yeah, that's all I really have on him. I know he's like
Okay.
he shows up in a lot of other SCP
Yeah.
like, listings. I think just because apparently he has a lot of knowledge about other SCPs.
Oh
so-
boy. I'm just looking at the addendums at the bottom of the article. SCP-035 has been found to be able to possess anything that has a humanoid shape, including mannequins, corpses, and statues.
Ooh.
It has been
So you could
able
just
to-
put it on a statue and it could chat.
Yeah, it has been
Oh.
able to motivate all into movement, removing the need to expose live subjects to it. Still, anything it possesses inevitably decays into motionlessness, presumably from the liquid emanating.
Oh, well, that's all right then. Just put it on a mannequin and it'll chat to you.
Ugh.
Oh, that's all right. So you're not sacrificing people every day.
Yeah, they
It'll-
don't care about the D-class.
It,
persons
it
anyway.
also attempted.
Well, yeah.
It also attempted to escape once by convincing the research staff to help it. That failed, and all the staff were terminated.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
people like,
Job wise or life wise?
This is the foundation we're talking about.
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
if anybody comes in contact with the SCP and they can't tell if they're effective enough, then you're gone.
Pretty much.
Damn.
You're done.
See, this is what I'm saying. Why would anyone like want to work for a place like this?
Well, you're only kept there when you're useful, so stay useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's kind of how the foundation
Like you feel
works.
sick one day and you're like, I gotta take a day off, and they're like, well, you're no longer useful.
Get terminated, bitch.
Hmm.
Right. This is the final SCP, which I think
Let's do
is really spooky. It's SCP-303 Object Class Euclid Special Containment Procedures. As SCP-303 has not yet been known to travel beyond the boundaries of Site Redacted, the entire area of Site Redacted is currently considered SCP-303's containment area. All rooms in Site Redacted are to be altered where possible so as to have two entrances separated by a distance of 10 meters or line of sight. Personnel are to be distributed evenly throughout the facility with available radio intercom contacts so that encounters may be resolved quickly. Personnel who witness SCP-303 are to be submitted for immediate psychiatric evaluation. So this thing just roams the facility
yeah.
because they can't contain it, but for some reason it decides to stay in the facility. I believe like it's got its own room, like a storage room. It's like kind of like claimed for itself, but like it will just go around wherever it wants in the facility, which makes him terrifying.
But then,
Um,
why do people need immediate psychiatric? Oh, okay, we're getting to it. We're
Wow.
getting to it.
Okay, yeah, I'm reading ahead and
Yeah.
ugh.
Description: Witnesses describe SCP-303 as a nude, sexless, emaciated. Yeah, that's a word that I can't speak. Humanoid figure with reddish-brown skin. Instead of normal facial features, its head is dominated by an extremely large mouth, which bears a set of oversized human teeth. It continually vocalizes a wheezing noise loud enough to be heard from the other side of most solid doors. All individuals who have had encounters with SCP-303 are capable of describing it in full, including individuals who have not physically seen any part of it.
Nice.
So it can kind of like manipulate your mind a lot. So
basically, if it's there, you know what it looks like.
If it's there, you know what it looks like,
That's
even if you
bizarre.
can't see it.
Damn.
SCP-303 will periodically materialize behind any closed door, hatch, or other entryway barrier opposite a sentient observer, chosen by unknown means. SCP-303 will then remain behind the door for an indeterminate amount of time.
Indetermined?
Shut up.
Indeterminate.
Yeah, that's the one. Any individual attempting to open the door or barrier experiences intense, paralyzing fear that lasts until SCP-303 dematerializes, either on its own or to avoid it being directly seen by another observer.
Wait, so it can just phase in and out of wherever?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wherever it wants
Sick.
to go, like teleports, sort of. It enters the fucking shadow realm. The source of this fear is not clear, but appears to be similar into nature to arachnophobia and aphidophobia, originating on a preconscious genetic level. Analysis indicates that SCP-303 is not in fact purposely inducing fear in the affected individuals. So just being near him induces fear in you. That's like fear. That's equivalent to like arachnophobia or something. So just paralyzing fear.
Damn.
SCP-303 does not allow itself to come into direct visual contact with any observer and has never allowed any one individual to view more than 10% of its form. When the door or other entryway barrier is partially or completely transparent, SCP-303 will materialize in an orientation that leaves 10% or less of its body visible, or causes effects of fog or frost on the transparent surface to achieve the same effect. If SCP-303 is approached from a direction in which there is not a solid object or door breaking line of sight, it will dematerialize before direct visual contact is made. And also, like, video cameras and stuff, it will, like, temporarily disable them or whatever.
Oof.
This thing is terrifying.
Because it's not particularly dangerous.
It's not
just
dangerous. It's just terrifying.
Well, okay. Looking ahead at the incident logs, there was a
The one in the shower.
doctor. Oh, I mean the shower is kind of creepy, but let me read this for a second.
So, but like, has it ever? Well, I was about to say it's probably about to come up in the incident logs. Has it ever like killed anyone, or what? Like, how did they find it?
I think it has killed.
Okay, so this this doctor was in a storage room, and there was a decompression chamber separating the storage room from the rest of the facility, and he was in the storage room, and 303 materialized in the decompression chamber, and the dude was found dead from dehydration, and it's estimated that he spent up to 5 days in the room with 303 in that chamber, like blocking his exit. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
That's nuts.
Yeah, because you can't escape from it itself, because it makes you fear it so much that you cannot approach it to make it disappear. You have to have somebody else, like, come in line of sight of it for it to disappear.
Yeah.
Or for it to disappear itself, just because. Oh, creepy, man. Creepy. I think that's the creepiest SCP that I've seen recently.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, 173 is pretty creepy, but that's, like, on a different level.
Yeah.
Just because it's just there. I mean, the shower one's creepy because, like, one of the female scientists was showering her or something, and she had that fear, and she knew it was behind the shower curtain, and, like, in a panic, she kind of, like, swatted the shower curtain, and she could see the full figure of him, or it, through the thing, but it just, like, stood there for a couple of hours, I think, or a few hours.
3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours while she just, like, was trapped in the shower or whatever. It's like, ugh. I did not like that.
But she could see it. I thought it doesn't.
No, she couldn't see it because it was behind the shower curtain. So when she slapped the shower curtain, like, it hit it so she could see the form of it, but she couldn't actually see it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So there's this thing just standing there and just, like, making these wheezing sounds. You know, it's like, oh.
Bruh, for 3 hours.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, that's rough.
That's not cash money. And you don't know if that thing's... It doesn't seem like it kills anybody. It just, other than that starvation or
Yeah.
dehydration
It doesn't, like, directly kill anyone.
No. But it's just like, fear me.
Yeah. How did they find it though? Did it just show up one day or?
I don't know. I didn't look at it. I don't think it said where it came from. It just said it's in that site.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
How SCP-303 arrived at the site is not known at this time. Its first recorded appearance was whatever date that was. It is suspected that it is spreading. It is suspected that 303 was inadvertently transferred along with or manifested by another SCP on site. All SCPs on site are being re-examined accordingly. So yes, they have no idea where it came from. It just showed up one day.
That's even scarier, man. It's like,
Yeah.
hey.
Bro.
It decides to stay there just because it can.
Yeah.
And you can't contain it.
You just gotta let it be and get freaked the hell out.
Nah, I ain't about that, man.
Can I get a reassignment to a different facility?
Yeah. But that's the thing, I get, going back to, like, working at these facilities, like, you literally can't leave. It's not one of those jobs where you can change, like, what if you eventually get bored or whatever, like, something, you decide that you want something else. It's like, you're stuck there now, you chose to work at it, like...
Yeah, I mean, you can get reassigned to a different location, but you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen, because SCPs are so unpredictable.
Yeah.
And there's also...
What if you get reassigned and it's worse? They're not gonna send you back. They'll be like, you're too much hassle.
Yeah, there's also the Chaos Insurgency, which are kind of cunts. They'll just show up, guns are blazing.
Americans.
And whatnot. Yeah, pretty much. They suck. Anyway.
Bro.
Yeah.
Those are some of the SCPs I picked out.
Yeah.
They're pretty famous ones, mostly.
Yeah.
I'd say. There's also the stairwell, which I didn't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Stairwell's creepy.
I mean, you said there's like 6,000 files, so like
5,000, I would say, at least.
we can always revisit this in another episode.
You can be trapped on their website forever.
Yeah.
They're so interesting. Some of them are just funny, some of them are creepy, some of them are just interesting. Like, there's a toaster, and when they talk about it in a report, you can only refer to it in the first person. So the report is like the toaster is speaking about itself. It can also kill people, I think.
Death by toaster.
I think they found the toaster in a room with just a dead family. They're like,
How would you suspect that it's the toaster, though? You're like, nah, the toaster did it.
Well, I'm assuming, like, if they try to talk about that toaster,
Yeah.
like, if they're in the room, be like, oh, yeah, that toaster would be like, yes,
Death.
I am the toaster. Or
I am the toaster.
I don't know how it works. Like, if you were going to try to refer to it, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Or whatever, it's like,
So yeah, I'm just looking at this. It looks like up until SCP-5126, they're all filled out, and then past that up to 5999, I'd say about a quarter of them have been claimed.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, yeah, what they do is they open up a series of article numbers, like must be 1,000 at a time. 1,000? Yeah, 1,000 at a time.
At first it was like hundreds, but now it's thousands.
Yeah, so there's six series. And series 6 is 5,000 to 5,099. No, 5,000 to 5,999.
Yeah.
So there's 1,000 articles per series, and they're up to series 6. And they fill it out a series completely before they open another one up.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It's neato.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I like it.
They're very cool.
I've spent so much time on this website, it's not even funny.
I'm probably about to spend a lot of time on this
Yeah.
website, considering
You'll
I...
enjoy it. Like,
Yeah.
some of the articles are a bit obscure and they can be a bit hard to read. If you read the whole thing, then you kind of get the understanding.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you don't understand it, usually, there's a like down the very bottom of the page, there's a link to the discussion page, which sometimes some of the more obscure ones, the author will like be in the comments,
Yeah.
explaining like what it's about, and what actually happens, because some of them are a bit hard to wrap your head around.
And if that fails as well, there's always YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. YouTube's great.
Oh, there's
I
so-
love watching
so
YouTube videos, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, the explaining series is very good.
There's this animated one though, like The Watch specifically.
Yeah.
So it's great. And it usually just talks about one SCP at a time. And sometimes the overarching lore of the universe. But yeah. We're about to hit 1 minute 20, I think that's
1 minute 20.
1 hour 20. Sorry. Yeah, 1 minute 20. Definitely. Yep, I definitely went through 6 SCPs in a minute 20.
Yeah, dude, that would be
Speed run.
lightning speed.
Speed.
Oh, well, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thank you,
Yeah,
Conall.
that was good. I'm gonna do more dramatic readings. That was fun.
Honestly, yeah, I quite enjoyed the little script bit.
Yeah, I'll leave
Oh,
that
man.
to you, eh?
Yeah.
I used to be
The theatre kid in us.
yeah, I used to be like heavily involved in theatre stuff, and
Yeah.
the last few years I have not.
I mean, that's how we
I've
met.
missed
We
it.
met through theatre, so
Yes, we did.
like
Yeah,
what,
school
7 years
productions.
ago?
Of-
Bro, we're so old.
Poor people.
So
boy.
next week is your weekly.
Yes, and I haven't decided what it will be yet, but
Oh, we're leaving you on the edge of your
it'll be
seats.
interesting. Yes, what I want to do is get a whiteboard or something and stick it up in this room and write down all the.
I mean, there
topics
was a
that we're
whiteboard there, but
It's fine.
somebody
Yeah.
took it down.
I think I have one
Yeah.
downstairs that I need to clean off.
There's one in the other room too.
Yeah. So I think we should.
One.
I think we should briefly discuss what's happened with the last few weeks.
Yes.
So.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah, so this is technically now the first one of the year, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, damn,
Oh, boy.
technically. Yeah, so,
So yeah.
yeah, you can go ahead and explain this.
Yeah. So the last episode that came out would have been on Christmas or like around.
I think it was a
around that
week
time.
before Christmas or something.
Was
No,
it?
we recorded it a week before.
Oh,
Christmas.
yeah.
So it would have come out on Christmas. So over the Christmas New Year's break, those 2 weeks, we didn't do any recording just because with people being away and all that, it would
It was
have.
too annoying to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need a break too.
Yeah. So the following week from that, this is last week from our perspective, we did a recording.
Which was my week, and as Conall said, probably one of our best episodes.
It was
Not gonna
pretty
lie.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one of our audio tracks decided to.
It just balked itself. It was like.
It basically,
That's not
we recorded for what, an hour and a half? Hour and 40?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, and it ended up exporting as a 10-hour audio file.
Yeah, we don't know what happened, and most of it we haven't been able to recover. There is a particular clip from it that
It's
we-
possible for salvation.
we really want to see if we can get it. So by the time this episode comes out, you'll know whether we managed to. Cause
Yeah.
it'll be up or it won't.
Something maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, if
Yeah.
it's not up, and if this is the first thing you're seeing this year, then obviously it didn't work.
Yeah. So the episode that we did record was on the Warren Occult Museum.
Yeah,
If you're
10
familiar with-
scariest things
if
in the
you've
Warren
seen
Occult Museum.
The Conjuring films, or you're familiar with the Amityville Horror or anything like that, you'll know about Ed and Lorraine Warren and their museum that they had in the basement of their house. So yeah, that was what it was about. We were going through some of the weirdest items that they have in there, and yeah, the reaction that Conall and I had to one of these items was pretty amazing.
It was quite good.
Honestly, it was quite funny because that was the one that I wasn't expecting any sort of reaction from. But
I don't know how, because this thing is just.
it didn't really bother me. Yeah,
Something
I was just-
about it
I was just kind of like, oh yeah, alright, but
Yeah,
the boys
so-
definitely did not like it.
So yeah, we're gonna do our best to salvage the audio for that clip and stick it up.
Yeah.
So
Give it a go.
Well,
Do
Yeah.
something.
as I said in the middle of this, we'll post it on Twitter and Instagram if we see it. So ZeroFunction Pod on both of those. Check us out, because guess what? We're on socials now. How cool
Yeah.
are we?
Yeah, we do things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you got
Yep,
that set up,
so-
it's good.
at ZeroFunction Pod on Twitter and Instagram.
ZeroFunction Podcast on YouTube, obviously, if you're listening to this. Make sure to subscribe. Comment down below if you have any sort of like specific topics that you want us to talk about, because obviously we're always interested in what you guys want to see and hear. Well,
give us a like.
yeah.
Helps us out. All that standard.
Turn on the
YouTube stuff.
notification bell.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Once again, Spotify will eventually get sorted out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day.
We say we're on Spotify, but it's like ish.
There's
We're
like
kind of on
2
Spotify.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
I could probably get another one up soon, but yeah, other than that.
Oh, boy.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you very much, Conall. And we'll see you next week.
I did his job.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.